Hello and welcome back to Art of Rally for our 18th weekly rally series in Finland for the group, August 25th leaderboards, and we are in the Group A Celica. Now, for this one I was going to go for a bit of a change in approach. Last few times they were quite bad, even for my standards. Many mistakes. Sometimes even dipping down into triple-digit positions. Not good, no good, very bad. And for this one, my goal was to simply minimize mistakes. And I quite liked the Celica. I've driven it a few times before, and I'd moved my practice location to Finland. Obviously, I don't know what's coming, what kind of weekly rallies are coming. And I would like to say that this one was a bit of a return to form. Obviously, no world-beating pace anywhere to be found, but this was a week that I could be very pleased with myself. Now, Finland, I consider to be one of my worst places to rally in, especially with all the jumps and crests and dips and everything that could throw me off balance with my quite harsh method of steering. But that wouldn't really be the case. Now this was a combination that I enjoyed quite a lot. I do like driving in rain in this game. The visible puddles sort of give me a mini game where I just try to dodge them. You know, I don't know if that is often the best path, but I do know not driving on the puddles gives you a lot more grip, unsurprisingly, and it's sort of a bit of a mini game for me, trying to find grip. And we haven't crashed. We didn't crash in the first one, and we got rewarded with position 25, a rare high moment. But we moved on to La Silla. Now, this one, I just knew I wasn't going to do well. This was a stage that I was always slow in comparison to how I was on other stages. So, once again, just focusing on not making any mistakes, because I might be slow, but if I push on a crash I will be slower still anyway, so there was only really one sensible way to go about this. And yep, continuing onwards, here we go, a big jump up. Immediately knew this is what I wanted the thumbnail to be. Now I usually, how I take the thumbnails, I usually just go pick a time trial from a moment that I remember from a nice jump, some decent turns, some pretty sights, that kind of thing, and do a replay on that. And yeah, that kind of in the sunset, beautiful sight. Would have been even better with a livery, but it is what it is. Our red ST185, I nearly said 205, is proving to be quite a fabulous piece of work. Now, coming up to the end, I wasn't expecting much. Of course, as I mentioned before, this stage in particular was a sort of a known area of skill issue for me. Not particularly crash prone, just a bit slow in comparison, and that would be reflected in the change of position as we went from 25th to 31st. Still doing much better than if we had crashed. Moving onwards to Normarku, a short quick burst where I've done some runs before in the past, some time trials on my own time. Obviously, it was a while ago, months now, really, and my ultimate pace is nowhere near what it used to be. Of of course, is still not world record based, but closer to it. A much more respectable. Now there is a world record line to the right of the log truck, and I am not taking that one because I've tried it before, and I don't think I've ever pulled it off properly once. Maybe once where it's gotten me a personal best, but only barely because I messed up the landing and messed up the entry. But what I didn't mess up was this time. And this isn't a time trial where you can just retry it all over again. One try once a week. For 4 stages, one try in each. And with my inconsistency being what it is, better safe than sorry, and so far it has paid off. A lot more emphasis on simply not worrying about time. Be well under your own limits, and it just pays off, really. Yeah, and we've gained 3 positions again with a solid result. Here I was curious to see how far off the lead I was. 27 seconds after 3 stages. That was good. I think that was good. I believe it was like 13, 14 off of the top 10. So again, not bad at all. As we head into the final stage. Pretty long one, but once again, the goal was the same. Just don't crash. That's kind of it. Sure, there's some tail happy moments, tail steps out. At this moment, I'm feeling more confident. I like this car. I trust it. So I am pushing a bit more, but there is, nothing to worry about. Just the usual stuff, and really, I think the skill issues are a bit more apparent here as a result of me pushing more, being a bit more, perhaps too confident, pushing a little bit too hard, trying to actually set out a decent time, or at least in my case, stay within top 30 for once. That would be a solid result. Well, whether that happens, well, we'll just see at the very end. But if you enjoyed this run so far, I know I have, at least compared to the previous ones. If you fancy, you can compare, but if you enjoyed this one in comparison, leave a like, leave a comment, perhaps even subscribe. Either way, thank you so much for watching this far, but stick with us, stick with me till the end, and let's see just where we have ended up. We're about halfway there, and we're doing pretty well. No big mistake, just a few little clumsiness, so a bit more minor skill issue. I definitely have a major case of minor skill issue, that is for sure. But, this has been going really well, I must say. I'm very pleased. I don't like to praise myself. I will be the first one to give shit to myself, but, for my own standards, this was solid. This was respectable, this was fine, and I didn't really have a lot to give myself shit for. Until now. A little bash, a very minor impact, but it was a bit of a scuff in an otherwise solid crash-free run. Nearly ended up crashing into a rock in shock. Thankfully didn't. The rest of this run would be pretty mistake-free, but it would have cost us maybe 2 seconds at most, maybe 3. I guess more, because it did throw me off a little bit, but no need to dwell on it. One last corner for a final short sprint. And where did we end up? 30th. Top 30. And, let's say 3 seconds. Maybe would have been in top 26, 25, something like that. Whether that could have been the case, maybe, I don't know. Quite possibly, but, it is what it is, and for what it was solid. But yeah, that was this one, a much better form, returned form in fact. If you enjoyed this video, this one, leave a like, leave a comment, and once again perhaps even subscribe. Either way, thank you so much for watching. Hope to see you again another time, but for the time being, goodbye.